everybody. It's Dyra from Entertainment, and I would like to talk a little today about finding your own voice if you are a vocalist. One of the most commonly asked questions that I get is, how do I perform different styles of music and manage to sound like myself along the way? Well, it wasn't always like that. I remember back to when I first started performing out, and I would sing maybe at a wedding, or I would sing with an early band or lead a choir, or perform in a play. And I remember that whatever piece it was that I was going to perform, I would take it and I would internalize it. So every lick, every solo, everything that that original artist did, I would do it too, and I would do it that way, and I would do it that way every time. And it wasn't until a few years later that a dear musician friend said to me, when you perform on stage with a band, why are you in and out of a song so fast? And I said, well, what do you mean? He said, well, you sing it just like the artists do, from beginning to end. And I don't hear you in these songs. Do you have a feature to make the song yours? And I said, well, I'm getting callbacks to perform at people's events and weddings and so forth. So I said, let me let you listen to a couple of my demos that I've recorded. And so they listened, and they said the same thing. Well, it's good, but once again, I don't hear you. I hear the actual artist. So I knew that there was a lot of truth to this, because that's what I had been doing. I had been mimicking. That's how I learned along the way. And so that's when I decided that it was time to find my own individuality in song. And so what I did was I first started by finding one song and listening to as many different artists as I could perform their rendition. So for instance, I chose Summertime, and I would listen to as many artists as I could perform this same song, just so that I can get used to listening to and hearing what different people are doing with a song that I had learned a certain way, and hearing how it could be performed differently. Secondly, I started listening to lots of instrumental versions of songs I knew and songs that I didn't know, because with songs that I didn't know, I wanted to start becoming more versatile so I could perform in front of many different audiences. And so also instrumental versions, allowed you to be able to sing your own way on top of these songs, because there were no lyrics there. So that was helpful. And lastly, well, not necessarily lastly, but one of my favorite things that I did, that I live by, is that I started listening to several live versions of some of my favorite songs instead of the radio cut, because on the live versions, the artist has the luxury of getting in there and stretching out some of these songs. Some of these songs go on for 8 to 10 to 12 minutes, and you hear the artist do all kinds of tricks and scats and improvisations and ad-libs and all kinds of things. You can hear them actually perform the song instead of just in the studio singing the song to get it perfect, that for a good take. And so that was very helpful. So another thing that this musician said to me, he said, when you're performing, when you get to the end of the song, once you sing the verses and the bridge and the refrains and the vamp and all of that, get to the end of the song and just quiet down and listen, and don't sing anything until you feel it. And I did that. I quiet down, and that's when I heard inside of my head my first scat solo, and that's when I performed my first scat solo. As intimidating as it was something that I needed to do. And so from there, I learned how to ad-lib and add on and stretch songs out and perform and start making these songs my own. And then I started thinking what a mistake it was to mimic all of these people along the way. And no, I was wrong. We all have our influences. And if you think about it, our influences also had people who influenced them. And so I believe that the more influences you have, the bigger the pool you have to draw from when trying to find your own your own individuality, the bigger the palette you're going to have. And so it's okay to take a little from this person and take a lot from this person, a little from this person. And by the time you mix all of that in with your unique style, your unique voice, and your own creations, then you're going to create your own style. You're going to have your own unique personality in music. So that's how I learned to find my own voice. So my take homes would be, number one, to find a song or several songs that you like, and these songs sang by several different artists, so that you can hear what can be done with a song outside of maybe the one way that you learned it. Also, learn to listen to instrumental songs and several different styles and genres of music that you are familiar with and unfamiliar with. You want to start working on your versatility. Also, big one here is to listen to live versions of songs, so that you can learn to stretch out and be creative at the end of the song. Learn to ad lib and improvise, and you listen to some people that you idolize, and see what they're doing with their songs. And most importantly, music is a beautiful language, and sometimes we all can get caught up in the frustrations of wanting to be better at this, and wanting to be a better singer, wanting to be a better musician, and you kind of lose what's key. Music is beautiful. It's a language of love. And you have to learn that while you're studying and becoming a better you in what you're doing and in performance, to remember to slow down and enjoy the music and enjoy what you're doing along the way, because it is beautiful and it should be enjoyable and it should be fun. Even though it is work, it should also be enjoyable and fun to you and do your heart good. So those are my take homes for today. It's been a pleasure talking to each and every one of you, and I'm going to send it now back over to Justice. Thank you so much. Once again, I'm Dyra from Entertainment. Have a good one. La, 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 la. Sometimes you're in over